So several years ago, I was involved with a firm that was involved with retirement plans, client pension plans, 401k plans, that sort of thing. And one of our clients, we gave them the information that they needed to make a $50,000 contribution to their retirement plan. So what happened was we give them the information to have it withdrawn, and the investment company pulls out the $50,000. Well, instead of $50,000 being withdrawn from the client's checking account, the investment company pulled out $500,000, which caused a huge issue with, of course, our client. The overdrawn checking accounts, exceeded all sorts of bank limitations. There was an investigation of the investment company by the banking divisions. I don't remember what exactly their title was, but it was a major error, and it was all because of someone just key punched in one extra zero. That's all there was to it. But we had to do a lot of damage control, and we never really laughed about it. It was like, how does this happen? And we made sure that it would never happen again.
Okay, so my scary story isn't very long, but I had a client come in and bring in 5 years worth of work papers. So I had to prepare a tax return for 5 separate years. And then about 2 days later, they called and wanted them to be completed. So that was a little scary because that was just not enough time.
Well, it's always scary to us accountants when the proverbial shoebox client comes walking in the door. They've got their shoebox full of receipts, and we have to sort out the mess, and what a nightmare. But that's the 90s. In today's age, the shoebox client has become the Dropbox client. And we think, oh, this is going to be easy. It's already digitized, ready to go. Well, here's 100 receipts, all individually scanned, and we still have to download it, figure it out, categorize it, and we always have the same amount of questions. So technology has not helped us. So our Dropbox client is the same old shoebox client, always a nightmare.
Okay, so my scary accounting story. Picture this, you have a new accountant working on a tax return. So I call my client to leave a message to request the work papers, documents that we would need to do a tax return. So no less than 10 minutes later, I get a call from this customer who is, let's just say, agitated. And she is insisting that we have received these work papers already. So I'm a deer in the headlights. So I'm like, all right, so I can't quite put my finger on these work papers right now, but I'm gonna go look for them real quick, okay? Can I put you on hold? So I go, I'm running around, I'm looking in every single office. I'm looking high, looking low, like behind cupboards, like anywhere it could be, and I can't find these work papers. And this client is insistent that we have these work papers, and now she's on the cusp of accusing us of losing these work papers. And then eventually it comes to light that she gave the work papers to her husband to drop off, and he never dropped them off. So at the end of the day, it wasn't our fault. We didn't have the work papers. We ended up getting the work papers. But for that short window there, that was probably the most scared I've been in my career to this date. And that's my scary accounting story.
Okay, so I had a client come in realizing that his QuickBooks Online bank balance was way overstated, as well as his accounts receivable balance. And when we did some digging, we found out that he had double recorded everything because of the use of the bank feeds. So the bank feeds seem like a really good feature, but in practice, if you don't know the very slight keywording difference, then it can throw everything off. So we had to spend a good amount of time removing all of the duplicate transactions.
I think for me personally, one of the biggest nightmares I have in accounting is learning way after the fact that an entrepreneur client of mine has gotten really creative and have decided to do all sorts of restructuring transactions. For example, all of our business debt has been refinanced through our home mortgage, and oh, by the way, we took out some equity and we bought vacation property and we're gonna start renting it out. Well, and that happened 6 months ago. Why didn't you tell me? You know, we could have helped with things along the way. There's tax consequences, lots of things to unravel, and it's a mess. It results in quite the nightmare.
Scary accounting stories. Isn't all accounting scary? I mean, death and taxes, come on. What other industry does death? And you don't hear death in contracting or death in IT. There's no death in video. But death in taxes, yeah, we just take that for granted. So yeah, accounting's scary. But I don't know why you're asking me. I'm not an accountant.